Hi everyone and welcome to Sherlou Games! Yesterday I'm gonna answer a simple question, which is what are the classes in Diablo 2 Resurrected that just came out a few days ago. So without further ado, let's just go in. So as you can see, when you come into the game, you will have the choice between 7 different classes, which is pretty cool. You will have the Amazon, the Assassin, the Necromancer, the Barbarian, the Paladin, the Sorceress, and the Druid. The Druid! My first language is French, so saying Druid sometimes is hard. One thing that is interesting is that when Diablo 2 first came out, there was only 5 classes. And it's Lord of Destruction, the first and only expansion that was done on Diablo 2 that were added the Assassin and the Druid. The Druid. And they were really welcome to the edition because they really brought some new mechanic to the game. But now you're lucky. I mean, as soon as you buy the new Diablo 2 Resurrected, you don't have that problem, don't have to wait for any expansion. You have all 7 characters right away. So now let's take a few seconds to go into each classes and see what are their 3 skills, so you can have an idea, a general idea at least, of what they are all about. So let's go into the same order as you see them from left to right on the intro screen. I've created one of each so I can show you each one really fast. So let's go first with the Amazon here. The 3 skill of the Amazon. First of all, you have Javelin and Spear, which you can have. I think she's the only one that can really use Javelins here. Then you have Passive Magic that will give her more life, more critical chance, things like that. And then there was Bow and Crossbow. And at the time, I don't know if it's still the case, but at the time, that was one of the most used skill tree, for the Amazon. Then we have the Assassin. The Assassin has also 3 skill. They all have that. Martial art is you have finishing move when you just attack, and then on your third attack you do something special. That is all about that. It's all about fighting. Then you have the Shadow Discipline, which are mostly focused around a special weapon, which is called a claw. And then you have traps, like little grenades, traps on the ground that you can lay for creatures to walk into. So that is her kit. The third character you can choose from is the Necromancer. Yeah, that one was really popular also. He has his summoning. Of course, he can have skeletons, he can have mage skeleton, he can have golems and all those things. So that was pretty fun. And then he has this poison and bone. He can throw bones at people, use poison on his dagger. That one was pretty fun. And you had the Poison Nova here, that was, at the time at least, one of the craziest and most effective skill to kill big chunk of mob. And then there are curses, where he could confuse people, slow them down. So this is it for the Necromancer. Then we have the Barbarian here. The Barbarian! He has his war cries to either pump himself up and his teammates, or to do some to frighten other creatures or things like that. Really fun, the war cries. I'm thinking about Far Cry right now. Then you had the Combat Mastery that was useful. You had to choose. It was hard because you had to choose which weapon you wanted to use for almost the rest of the game, and that was not easy to do. And then combat skill with the celebrated bash that we all know because it's still there in Diablo 3. And so you have jump, you have the whirlwind. The first time we saw the whirlwind was in there, so that was pretty amazing, having the Barbarian and see what they've done with him in Diablo 3. And I know that they already announced him in Diablo 4. So he's that Barbarian, he was the first one, but there's a long lineage going into the Diablo franchise from that Barbarian. We have the Paladin. This one was really special with the different type of game we had so far at that time. I remember guys, that was 20 years ago. This one was really special with his aura. He had defensive aura, offensive auras also that changed kind of the way the battle is going, and his combat skill. This is more forward, but he had the smite. He could use his shield, especially the charge with his shield. That was one thing that was used a lot. But all the auras thing, I mean, nowadays we understand how it works, but at the time I remember that a lot of people were kind of, how do we use this? How do we really combine things to really make him good? But the Paladin became a force to be reckoned with in Diablo 2 at some point. Well, this one, I don't know if we really need an introduction. It's the Sorceress. She was famous and infamous for some of her skill. So she had 3 big specializations, and the way to go for most people was to choose 1 skill and just go down that path. So you had the cold spells, you had the lightning spells, and the energy shield was really popular. And I remember the fire spell, because the fire spell at some point, there was kind of a bug with them. There was no casting delay on them. So 2 of those things were kind of broken. There was the firewall. You could just put firewalls all over the place in a specific dungeon or a specific area, and nothing would survive that. They changed that later on, putting a shorter duration on the time of the firewall, and also putting kind of a delay before you can cast it again. It was the same thing for the Hydra. That one was the same thing. You pop an Hydra with 3 heads that just throws fireball, and you could put like 20 of those in your screen, and that was just crazy. But they fixed that too. They changed it a little bit, and now it's better. But yeah, the Sorceress at the time, there was a lot of ink that was spilled because of her and her broken skills. And finally, the one that I am having trouble pronouncing, but I remember loving a lot, was the Druid. The Druid? The Druid. The Druid? The Druid? I don't know. That dude. The Druid had also a skill tree that was really special. He had kind of a magic vibe to him. The Elemental was really, if you wanted to play him as more as a mage or a sorcerer, with the twisters, with the volcanoes and everything. It was pretty fun, and I remember having a big crush on that thing over here, the Molten Boulder. I don't know exactly why, and I don't know if it's still good, but when I tried to remember what I was playing 20 years ago, I remember playing that spell like a lot. Then there was the shape-shifting, and if you choose that path, you could almost choose only that path, because while you were shapeshift, if I remember correctly, you cannot use elemental or summoning unless they changed it. And then summoning was kind of his necromancer side. You can have vines, you can have ravens, you can have wolves, you can have a bear at the end, and that the druid was really interesting when he came in, because he was kind of combining the mage, a new mechanic, the shape-shifting, which kind of turned him into an assassin or a soldier, depending on how you see it. And then there was a summoning that put him close to the necromancer. So he gave for everyone something to try. And I remember that there was some crazy build for him at the time, because people were trying all kind of different combination. He was the talk of the town when the expansion came in. No offense to the assassin, but I think he really at that time he stole the show. He stole the show. So that was it. That was the presentation, or what are the classes in Diablo 2 Resurrected. I hope you like it, and I showed you a little bit of what those characters are all about, or the classes, should I say, are all about. If you want to know more, if you want to see me play the game, you can go see my video that I did, a live show that I did like a day after it came out. And also I will be coming soon with another video telling you if you should buy it or not, because that's a big question. It's an old game, and it's in Canadian money it was $55, probably American money is probably $50 or something like that. So it's kind of a lot of money for an old game. So should you buy it? Well, I will answer that pretty soon. Thank you everybody for being here. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.